Hello guys, this is Karl, Jiang, or Ziray. I was recording this deck profile for Luxurious Games and my friends Andre. I made top 64 at YCS, the recent European YCS, and I was playing branded Tearlaments, which isn't an usual choice for Tearlaments players because most of them are playing like Scar Claws or Dangers or other stuff. But I choose to do this for various reasons, and we can get into this while we're doing the deck profile. And so, first off, we start with all the Tearlaments cards. I played, like basically 3 of all the Tearlaments cards because they're like actually the most important effect you can get during the games. So, 3 of every monsters. I played 1 Shadow Beast just in case I can get out a window, and this is I can actually get Shadow Beast to graveyard very efficiently because I also play Brand Fusion Camille like Shadow Beast. I also play the one of Foolish Barrels. Aside of this, I played one of the Fallen Fabas also for Branded Fusion, 1 Albion for the branded in High Spirit. And because High Spirit with any of the Tearlaments is 1 card giving you the Kitakalas. I also played a small adventure engines, which is including 3 of the Water Enchantress, because she can trigger even if sent to graveyard by any of the Tearlaments cards, and one Wonder Griffin as a standard card. I didn't play the Abandoned Knight or whatever the name is because that card is okay but not like ideal. I only played 1 Rite of the Almisia, which is most of people wouldn't expecting it, so I have to kind of like pretending it I have more. So every time I adding this back from the graveyard with Water Enchantress because I don't have any more in the graveyard, it's kind of nervous for me because if my opponent realized I only play 1, they DD Crow it, I would probably be losing the game. But fortunately, nobody realized that, and I think that's a common sense. 1 of the Fateful Adventure, 1 of the Draco back. So that's the adventure engines, because this deck is lack of hard negates. So I think Griffin actually saved me a lot of games. Except the 1 time they tributed with the Sapphire mode and then evenly matched me until I have only have a token on the field. That sucks. On the spell, I play 3 of the field spell, which standard. 3 of the Branded Fusion. 2 of the Branded High Spirit. We talked about this in the before, so it's for those 2 cards. That's the Branded engine, and also 1 of the Branded Retribution. This card can banish itself in graveyard to add back any of the branded spell traps. So basically, if I activate Branded High Spirit, sending over one of the Tearlaments and search Albion, the Tearlaments can get me Kitakalas, and Albion can send the Retribution to graveyard to draw 1. And at first, the Retribution can add the High Spirit back instantly instead of waiting a turn. And if any of my Tearlaments cards send the Branded Fusion, which I can Retribution immediately banish itself to add the Branded Fusion back and give me actual combos. So I think this card is worth playing in this build at least. So that was the branded combos or pieces. So the rest of the spells, I played 3 of the Forbidden Droplet, which was mainly for mirror match when they have Abyss Dueler. I have to use this card to negate it, otherwise I do have some non-graveyard effect related cards to to deal with that situation. For example, Water Enchantress ban itself in hand, and Branded Fusion also doesn't have much to do with graveyard. I will be missing 1 trigger, but it's alright. I can still have a Mirror Jade on the field. So, but still I would prefer negate Abyss Dueler, if anything. And 3 of the Super Polys. This was actually not really ideal in the mirror match because they can still trigger all the monster they got fusion into graveyard. But this is really the MVP against Sprite so I'll have to play 3 in the main deck. Especially I played against like 5 sprite in the first 6 rounds, so this is really helpful. And I basically win every time I drew this against sprite. And the rest of the spell, I played basically the 4 one-offs. Call by the Grave, which I don't really like in Tearlaments, but it did what it did, so I'm okay with. Foolish Burial can send me a Shadow Beast or Water Enchantress or any of the Tearlaments, like by my choice. But I usually side this out after siding because extra step isn't really helpful. And this too is actually the good one-offs, and I think that's mandatory. For the traps, I play 2 of the Tearlaments thoroughly because this card is just good. It negates a monster effect, it triggers Tearlament, it search a monster. Side out 1 if going second. I play 1 of the high grade draw. This card do 2 things. One is it can destroy all my monster on my field and to draw cards. So it instantly out Mystic Mine if I activate this during their end phase. Second thing, if this thing is sent to graveyard, it can destroy 1 of my monster on the field and set it back. So this is another like active way to trigger my Tearlaments on field during my opponent's turn, which came up like handily a lot of matchups. And that's the 3 traps and plus 1 of the retributions. So that's 4 traps, and that's basically my main deck. For the extra deck, it really sucks a little bit when I only play 2 of the XYZ monster with the most important 2s. I didn't have the space to play Zeus, which I think is really helpful against like a lot deck, but because I was playing branded like engines, I didn't have space for them. So I would win like 1 or 2 matches that I lost if I had Zeus in my deck, but it is what it is. For the Link monster, I played Dark, which is summer like any Dark monster, really good in mirror match. I didn't use it a lot. Sprite Elf, this one I can either link it summer with the Merly, or I can link it when Dark bring back a monster. But I actually did not play this card a single time during this entire tournament. Sometimes it's because I activate Branded Fusion, sometimes it's because I don't have enough monster to do that. I don't regret playing this because they still help me in certain situation, but it just didn't come up in this time, so it's alright. For the main part, which is the fusion monsters, I wasn't expecting a lot dimensional barriers this tournament, and it come up true for me. So like, even though I play 11 fusion monster, nobody dropped a DBR on me, which would be like a more of the trouble for me, but it's went alright. So 3 of the Tearlaments, 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Garura, 1 Predaplant. I think that's the standard part. 1 of the D3S Frog for the branded High Spirit. That's a 2-card combo. So that's kind of like the standard part. I play 1 of the Winda for the Shadow Beast because Winda is actually pretty good in most of the mirror match or sprite matchups. And the 3 branded cards out of Branded Fusion. Alba can search either Branded Fusion or Instant Fusion, which is make it better than the Albion. But that's the extra deck. They all come up like quite a lot. Really helpful. For the side deck, I play 2 Diddy Crow for mirror match, 2 Ghost Sister when going to time, but this 4 card never came up for me. I never drew the Diddy Crows. The Ghost Sister, I barely go into time actually so like Konami changed it from 40 minutes to 45 minutes this tournament. With the extra 5 minutes doesn't sound a lot, but it actually came up really helpful because there's like a lot of time I would win into time, but with that extra 5 minutes, I win the game or I lost the game. It doesn't matter. But this never came up. The only time I drew it was the going second and 6th card was this, so I had to discard it with something else. It never came up. But I still don't regret playing this. 3 of the Ghost Reaper. This card is really good in the mirror match, and it can also banish a Sprite Elf, which is another reason I didn't regret playing this. And it came up a few times, and which almost win me like every game I activated this and resolved. So I really like this card. That's the monsters from my extra decks. And for the spell, I play 2 Cosmic Cyclone, mainly for Mystic Mind, but also for like Runic matchup, any back row matchups. I play against like 4 Runic Sprite in the entire tournament, so this card helps me a lot. Also in mirror match, banish the back row continuous trap is also helpful. Evenly match is really good. Like anytime I go second and activate this card, my opponent basically instantly lose. Except one time, it was a mirror match and he had enough resource to help me. And 3 skill drain. This card should be sided in every matchup except mirror match. This is instant win against Sprite, and yes, I basically win every time when I open this card as well. Like even if they evenly match me, I would just keep this card on the field and I flip it, they would just surrender it. So this is actually really helpful. Except during the top 64 when I play against Rika, I open two copy of this, 1 copy of Albas, and 1 copy of Hagrid Draw. That really couldn't help. Like it's not skill drain fault. It still stopped them. My hand is bad enough that I couldn't win the games. But yeah, this is my deck. I'm really satisfied with what I did, and really satisfied with what I played. We didn't actually make further out of top 64, but you know, it is what it is. I opened badly. It happens once in a while, and you know, overall I'm really satisfied with what I did and with this kind of like a unique build, because I don't think anybody other than me was playing branded engine in top 64, and not even mention like adventure stuff. So I really like this. And for the last part, I would like to shout out to all my like Chinese friends who helped me came here, build the decks, and all the like my local friends support me and you know like cheer for me on the stream. And honestly, you know, Lustrous Game is really good group. I hope you guys check it out, and thanks for everyone.